Kanu Agabi, son, says actual criminals in Nigeria often escape prosecution, while innocent citizens face prolonged legal battles. Agabi, a former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, made the statement in a keynote address delivered by Mr. Paul Erokoro, son. The occasion was the public presentation of a book titled OPL 245, Inside Story of the $1.3 billion Nigeria Oil Block, authored by Mr. Mohammed Adoke, son.
I recall a former governor, Mr. Bode George, who actually went to jail, served 2 years, I think, and when the matter got to the Supreme Court said this man should never have been charged to court. And we see a lot of this going on in our country. Actual criminals are not being prosecuted, unfortunately. But the innocent get dragged through, and if you read the papers, for instance, you would think that every judge in Nigeria is a crook. You would think that every politician is a crook. Maybe some are, but they generalize it so much, and then there is this business of picking and choosing and descending on those that do not meet the favor of the particular regime in office. It is a very, very sad thing. Now, this transaction, as you will see detailed in the book, started a long time ago during the regime of General Sani Abacha. And that OPL was given out. President Obasanjo cancelled that lease and restored it. Shell and the others went to court. We were at ICSID. We were in danger of losing $2 billion. The settlement started during General Obasanjo's time, was anchored during President Jonathan's time. We can make a lot of money. This block is very, very rich. Where are we in court suffering? And you should read the judgment of the English court that heaped praises on Mr. Bello Adoke for going out of his way as Attorney General to save his country so much embarrassment and huge costs. But surprisingly, this transaction that was anchored, JP Morgan and Co., and some of the best names in the world praised it, the Nigerian government. On the one hand, issuing statements, you will see all this in the book. The Attorney General of the Federation at that time said, we support this settlement, it's in the national own interest. Nevertheless, we will accuse Mr. Adoke of corruption. Quite frankly, it's a commentary on the state of our nation that people who do things like this are not called to justice, are not called to account in any way.
Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State described the book as a vital documentation of Nigeria's oil governance and a personal account from a key player. Makinde said the Malabu deal reflected broader concerns about the governance of public resources. He said the OPL 245 block, with an estimated 9 billion barrels of crude, had potential to shift Nigeria's GDP outlook.
OPL 245, inside story of the $1.3 billion Nigerian oil block. That's a lot of money, $1.3 billion. So, I'm not surprised that it generated a lot of interest. Well, this book, to me, is not simply a retrospective on a deal. It is a personal testimony from someone who held public trust and bore institutional responsibility during a turbulent and legally fraught moment in our nation's oil and gas sector. Well, we live in a country where records are sparse, where narratives are quickly lost in headlines, and where legal complexities is often weaponized. In this context, Malambe's decision to document his side of the story is not just brave, it is necessary. Because history must not only be recorded, it must also be contested, clarified, and understood. This is how historical narratives are built. We must not be silent about our history, and records must be kept. It is therefore with deep respect for the principle of public accountability and with personal appreciation for the complexity of our oil economy that I officially present to you today. OPL 245, Inside Story of the $1.3 billion Nigerian Oil Block by Mohammed Bello Adoke, SAN.
Former Senate President Senator Bukola Saraki said the book underscores the value of rule of law and accountability in public service.
I think all has been said, but I think there are three things we should all take out from here. One goes back to the fundamental and basics of our society, which is the respect of the rule of law. We continue to see it as a continuous impact on every sector. What Mala Adoke has shown here is where the rule of law is being a victim of that. And I'm sure not only him, even many of us, me standing here, I'm also one. And I hope that when my book comes out, Sheyi Makinde and I will be able to present that. But we talk about it in light tone. But we thank God that he is here. It could have been a different story. And as he said, there's still scars. You go through it, you get vindicated in court. But there's some scars that live with you. I remember it was a few months ago where I was somewhere and a young person just Googled and listed all the accusations. But where you've been vindicated is so small compared to all the negative stories. And it lives with you many years after. And the sad part about it is that you bargained for this. But you know, we all have young children who didn't bargain for this. They have to carry this burden with them. So I think as a society, honestly, we need to begin to review, these kind of things when we're in power and people are in position of authority. Secondly, is the oil and gas sector. It's OPL 245 today. It's such an important sector in the economy that, as Imakide said, we need to make it more transparent, the processes and which it goes about. Let me salute you for your courage, and I hope that a lot of people would read the book. I'm going to read the book.
Also speaking, Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Chief Uche Nnaji, praised Adoke for documenting his experience.
$1.3 billion Nigeria oil block. This is not just a book, but a story that set the record straight and history that remains untold. As I was a businessman, I am privy to the true story of this OPL 245. Coincidentally, my very good friend and a business ally, who is now the DG Energy Commissioner of Nigeria, Dr. Mustafa Abdullahi, worked in the defunct DPR under the Lease Administration Department that handles oil lease and oil license. So I must say I am very informed on this OPL saga. With all I know and in view of the court's version, we can only apologize and learn from the mistakes. Therefore, I must congratulate you, Mr. Mohammed Bello Adoke, for coming out of this saga victorious. And I wish you all the best. Thank you.
The news agency of Nigeria, NAN, reports that the 26-chapter book covered a controversial 2011 deal in which Royal Dutch Shell and Italy's Eni paid $1.3 billion for OPL 245. The book, also known as the Malibu Oil Deal, is based